it's not that I bring it up conversation. It's more of just networking. Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Do you have enough deal flow? Are you looking for more opportunities to invest into certain transactions? So it's kind of having just open-ended conversations, and it takes a lot of time to build that trust, months, years, to get there. So it's just having open conversations and always kind of brushing the subject, because there's always opportunity out there if you're looking for it.
If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Let me ask you something. Why is it that some real estate investors struggle for years to raise even one single dollar, while others quietly go out and raise over $1 million in private money? What do they know that the rest of the market doesn't know? And more importantly, how do you get access to that skill set? Today, I've got a guy who's done exactly that. Daniel Martinez didn't come into real estate with a silver spoon. He came in with curiosity, grit, and a willingness to solve the problems other real estate investors avoid. He's participated in more than $19 million in transactions, built his business around land deals, notes, creative finance, private money, and cleaning up the messy stuff: title issues, taxes, liens, heirs, squatters, all the headaches that nobody wants. He's also the author of Originate, built a CRM platform called Nightfire, created Originate AI to help investors evaluate deals faster. And somehow, on top of all that, he's hosted over 600 podcast episodes. But the reason he's here today is simple. We want to dive in specifically and talk with Daniel how he's personally raised over $1 million in private money. We're going to break it down exactly how he did it, step by step, word for word, mindset, and execution. So buckle up, because if you've been telling yourself you can't find the money, Daniel is about to take away that excuse forever. Welcome to Raising Private Money, the only podcast for real estate investors who want to fund their deals without relying on banks or credit or using their own cash. I'm Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority. I'll show you how to get private lenders begging to fund your next deal, because every good deal starts with the money. You're going to meet my guest, Daniel, right after this. Well, hello there, Daniel. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you, Daniel. Thank you for having me on your podcast as well. Well, you've raised over $1 million in private money. What was the very first step you took to actually move the needle and start raising the money?
The first thing is talking about what you do. If no one knows what you do, they're not gonna trust you. No one trusts you. So I think the first thing is just being upfront of what you do and how you do it, and people will ask questions from there, and it kind of opens the question. But if you never talk about what you do and how you do it, no one's ever going to ask the question.
Well, that's true. How do you start conversations or bring up the topic with someone that you're talking to?
A lot of it is there's a lot of deals and opportunities out there, but never enough capital. And a lot of people that have a lot of capital don't want to put in the effort to find deals, and they're just looking to invest passively, depending on how much capital they have. So it's usually a combination of the two, and just making the right connections and asking questions. And hey, this is what I do full time, and I have more opportunity that I need more help acquiring and taking down.
Right. Yeah, I started raising private money, Daniel, back in 2009 is when I started using private money. And I tell you what, I found out very, very quickly, and it's still true today. And that is, there's more money than there are deals. I've got a problem. Right now, I've got over $1.2 million in private money, what I call just sitting on the shelf, waiting for my private lenders are waiting for me to put it to work. And that's one of the reasons that I focus on raising the private money first, right? And you and I may have talked about this on your show, but you have probably heard the gurus stand on stage and tell real estate investors to just get the deal under contract, the money will show up, right? You've heard
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
And that is bad advice. that is bad advice. It's like, okay, how's the money going to show up? Is like a drone going to fly over your front door and drop a bag full of money after you've gotten the deal in the contract? And, it's just downright stressful to try to go find money when you've got a deal under contract and you need it. And it's just so much more easier, in my experience, to talk about private money, the opportunity that I have, without having any kind of a deal associated with that conversation. Has that been your experience?
It's a lot of conversations to get up to that point. 100%. I'm always raising capital with different people, buyers, contractors, people in my network, and it's not that I bring it up conversation. It's more of just networking. Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Do you have enough deal flow? Are you looking for more opportunities to invest into certain transactions? So it's kind of having just open-ended conversations, and it takes a lot of time to build that trust, months, years, to get there. So it's just having open conversations and always kind of brushing the subject, because there's always opportunity out there if you're looking for it.
Sure. And as you said, you're simply sharing with people what you're doing, what you've got going on. Now, you have built your real estate investing business solving what I call the messy deals: title issues, taxes, liens, heirs. How is it that you got attracted to, say, the messy real estate deals and really make that your expertise?
I've just started doing that over the last year, so I'm not saying I'm an expert. I've done a few transactions. I've learned a lot from Logan Fulmer. He's the person that teaches this out there, so I can't say I've learned and done all this myself. I've learned a lot from Logan. So it's just been practicing doing and keeping an eye on transactions like that. So, like I said, I've done a few already, so they've done very well. So just.
Do you think those deals are more lucrative because other real estate investors just don't want to deal with those type of situations?
It's every investment is a risk. It's understanding your risk, though. So if you understand the laws and the resolution to find out the results, that's where a lot of this effort comes in. So a lot of people don't know about insurance, title insurance, heirship, depending on the state, probate, and how those laws work. If you do a little due diligence, and this is one of the things where like AI in general comes in, if you're willing to do a little bit of research and learn how to solve these things, that's where you get the upper hand over a lot of other investors that aren't doing stuff creatively.
Yeah, that's for sure makes sense. Now, as I said in the introduction, you've participated in over $19 million in transactions. That's a lot of big dollar transactions there. How did your experience, say, with notes and with land play into raising private money? Can you raise private money for notes? Can you raise private money for land? How does that work?
Absolutely. So a lot of times with land, it doesn't cash flow. So there's a lot of, if you're bringing private capital, there's no proceeds to pay out. And it's almost like a flip. You buy a flip, you buy a house, you remodel it, and then you sell it. Land is essentially the same thing. We buy land, we might subdivide it, or we might just straight flip it and put it on the market. With notes, the good thing about notes, if you're doing private capital with notes, is there's actually income to disperse, because usually the borrowers are paying back monthly. So if with notes, it's kind of a different sector, but you do get cash flow without having to deal with ownership. If you're familiar with the capital stack in real estate, ownership has the most risk, because it's the highest part of the capital stack, whereas first position deed security is always high priority, which is where the bank likes being. Essentially, that's where we're investing in. We're investing in first position notes secured by good real estate with low equity with good borrowers.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I do as well. How important would you say, Daniel, is mindset? Was there some kind of mindset shift that that was required for you to believe that you were worth being funded, or was there any kind of mindset shifts that you had to go through before you actually started raising private money?
Absolutely. It comes down to a confidence thing. It's confidence and being honest of what you're doing and how you're doing it. So, number one is if you don't have any experience, say I don't have experience. And usually the people that have experience doing it are the lenders. Most of the lenders that are out there, they have experience doing maybe flipping, maybe land, maybe notes, and they have a lot of experience in what you're trying to do. So they're usually the best person to help you get into that niche. And it's just being upfront and honest with them of what you're doing and how you're planning to do it. And usually, a good capital partner just doesn't bring the money; they bring advice and tips and tricks. So I think not all money is good money, but if you find the right person to work with that's going to bring maybe more than just capital, that's a great money partner to work with, and you should be looking for those.
Got it. Now, you've probably heard the saying, a confused mind does not make a decision. And so what I'm talking about is that private lenders, they care about clarity, right? They want to understand what's going on. So what kind of advice from your experience in raising private capital, how do you simplify complex deals so the lenders understand it, they feel safe, especially when the deals involve title issues or maybe some creative structures?
A lot of it is doing an easy deal first. Most people aren't going to invest in a troubled transaction up front on the first run. So a lot of times you're using your own private capital and you build a track record doing that. Then you can bring in private capital. Here's what I did similar to this in this transaction. And here's what I would use your capital for in this instance. And you just keep presenting the option. Right now, what I do is a lot of people aren't interested, not necessarily interested, but they're not. Notes are like an unknown space in real estate, so a lot of people understand it. So I have to have a lot of conversations about notes in the note space just to kind of educate them because a lot of people don't know anything about it. So it's more of an education process. Hey, here's an opportunity I have now. Here's the capital I'm looking for. Here's what the last person did, and I'll let you know if you're not interested in this one. I might have an opportunity moving forward, but I'll let you know when it comes. But this is generally what it looks like. So it's having that same conversation over and over again of how this transaction would work, whether it's them or somebody else.
Got you. Now, in the introduction, I talked about how you created Originate AI to help investors evaluate deals faster.
Yes.
So I'm really interested in hearing about that. What is it? How does it work? What kind of information does it give? What kind of information do you have to put in it to get back? And, how does it help the real estate investor make a decision?
So a lot of times it's kind of AI is the hot topic right now, and there's a lot of people that they want to utilize it in their business, but they don't have a system or process for it. So I made a couple different versions of Originate AI, and it can be used for different things. So like I made one for notes. I can make one for a flipping business or a wholesale business, and it can be internally in their platform where lead comes in. There's AI tools out there that can cold call now and kind of cold prospect leads. So there's a lot of innovation out there. So I'm always trying to stay on the edge of what's coming and what can be done just to kind of provide those resources. Like I said, I'm more working on the underwriter side of creating an AI agent underwriter. So if anyone's interested in doing that, I can do that for your business. But mostly it's just keeping up with trends and how to integrate it into your business and automating as much as possible, because I believe in the future, there's going to be AI agents that will call, prospect, sell, convert your lead, and underwrite it all in a process. And that ability is coming out very soon.
Yeah, it's just amazing and mind blowing as to what AI has done, how it's grown, how it's, morphing. I mean, just within the past 2 years. And
Absolutely.
it's getting faster and faster and faster.
Absolutely. It's amazing. It's amazing to see it work.
Daniel, let's come back to the topic of private money. I'd like for you to walk us through an actual deal that may come to mind that you funded with private money, the story behind that deal, start to finish, so the listeners here to the show can understand the sequence, what happens first, what happens second. How does a private money deal for you work and look from start to finish?
A lot of it is you find the opportunity, and it could be from wholesalers or if it's from your own internal marketing. Then from there, I've been using AI a lot more to kind of create like a deal analysis, even up to like a PDF. So I've been creating, and this can be automated as well, but kind of deal analysis. I've been using it for underwriting to pull up comps. And then I'll usually verify that before I push it out. But I usually give it a summary, ROI, and what type of return, and I'll have it generate me a whole packet. And like I said, I'm leveraging AI a lot more these days. But from there, I will then push it out to my investors. Like I said, I have a few that I can go to generally for most things. And then if none of them want to fund it, I'll usually go out to my broader list. But I have like a pocket funders that are looking for direct opportunities. But generally from there, like I said, it's kind of packaging and formatting the deal where an investor understands. And it's usually I'll call the investor first. That's depending on what type of package it is. So if I'm doing notes, I'm definitely going to call my note lender. Whereas if I'm doing a land deal, I'm not going to call my note lender because they might not be interested in that type. So it's understanding what your lenders want to lend on and what they understand. And it's kind of formulating and having different lenders for different things, because you might have that lender's going to fund all your flips, but not your rentals. So you have to figure out what they're interested in and what type of risk tolerance they're interested in, and timelines and ROI. And you kind of take it from there.
So you may have some private lenders that are funding your flips for single family houses, then different private lenders are interested in buy and hold for your rentals. And then you got different private lenders that would fund your notes, right?
Really? Yep.
Awesome. And it also sounded like when you have a deal to be funded, do you send that deal out to more than one of your private lenders to see which ones are interested in it first?
I usually send it to my direct, I have like an internal pocket list that they fund most of my transactions. So I'm usually looking to those first, just because I have you have a track record with them, So once you have a track record with them, it makes it a lot easier. And then you send it out to everybody as a whole, because you don't know who's going to be your new internal pocket lender. So it's one of those things where you work it, and like I said, you want to have more people than not. So it's just building that list and building that trust over time.
There you go. Sure. Now, Daniel, you've hosted more than 600 podcast episodes on your podcast. Would you say that being a host of a podcast has helped private lender relationships come about that maybe you would not have had, or not really?
I think we're in the day and age where you need to connect with your audience, and social media and podcasting kind of opens up that doorway. A lot of people want to know who you are without having a conversation with you, especially in this day and age. So they want to find you on LinkedIn. They want to find you on YouTube. They want to find you on Twitter. They want to find you on Instagram. Like, you want to be readily available, Googleable, and they want to know what you're about, essentially. If they don't have a relationship with you, usually most people are going to do their due diligence on you prior to that. So you need to have some type, if you're going to do this long term, you need to have some type of presence out there. And this comes out to being uncomfortable, having conversations that you might not want to have at first, but if you put yourself out there, people will find you. And if nobody knows who you are, no one's going to trust what you do and how you're doing it.
Well, and being the host of a podcast like you are, it's a great way to be seen as the authority, the expert, have the credibility. And I can certainly see how doing over 600 episodes would lend itself to positioning you as being the person with a lot of credibility. So from your experience, you remember what it was like when you hadn't raised any private money and you were just starting out. For the real estate investor listening here who's got no private lenders, no track record, and lacks confidence, what's the simplest, lowest resistance way you would advise them to start moving towards raising private money?
It's all starts with online. I think my first private investor came from Facebook, and it was just having conversations. Hey, do you have any opportunities to lend? My family personally didn't lend at any transactions for years. It took like 4 or 5 years personally. And I never asked them either. It was one of those things where they kind of broached me about it. But a lot of it is your internal circle. A lot of people are paying attention online as a whole, no matter what your favorite platform is. There's Twitter, there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook. Pick one, pick them all, do them all. Just post consistently what you're doing and how you're doing it. And people will come along. Hey, I have an opportunity for XYZ. Anybody interested? Da, 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 da. And somebody will come out of the woodworks most of the time if they've been watching long enough that, hey, I have 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 for that transaction. It hasn't been filled yet. And a lot of times it's being comfortable, just being freely of what you're doing and how you're doing it. So if you're afraid to post and shake hands and have Zoom calls or however you want to network and meet these people, if you're afraid of that, you're never going to raise the capital you need. But it starts with being out there.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better, Daniel. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, Daniel? Maybe somebody wants to learn more about being a private lender for you and get passive income coming in. If they want to continue the conversation, what's the best way to connect with you?
So you can actually Google me. I'm all over the place, but my main website is nytfire.com, NYTFIRE. And then you can email me at admin, ADMIN, at nytfire.com. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me. But I have a lot of information on YouTube and there's a lot of stuff out there. I have a book, originate.nytfire.com. Definitely get your copy. Nightfire podcast on YouTube. There you go, originate.nytfire.com. You can get a signed copy there. I'm on Amazon. You can definitely pick up a copy on Amazon directly as well if you're overseas.
Excellent. Well, all these URLs will be in the show notes. And again, Daniel's website, Nightfire, it's spelled a little bit differently, www.nytfire.com, nightfire.com. Daniel, thank you so much for joining me here on Raising Private Money.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. For everybody here, go take some action and go deliver some results to your investors. Thanks, guys.
Love it. All right, everybody, there you have it. If you've been sitting on the sidelines telling yourself that you can't find the money, well, Daniel just proved that you can. No fluff, no theory, actual steps, real conversations, and his mindset that gets private lenders to say yes and move forward. Daniel, thanks for breaking this down today. Your ability to simplify complex deals and messy deals, actually show investors how to create value. That's the stuff most people never talk about. And for those of you listening, your next move is simple. Take one thing Daniel shared here on the episode and put it into action today, this week. Make the call, start the conversations, share the opportunity, tell people what you're doing. The money is out there just waiting on someone confident enough to share the opportunity. So if you got value from today's episode, make sure you hit subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with another real estate investor who needs to hear it. This is Raising Private Money. I'm your host, Jay Conner, and I'll see you right here on the next episode. Now go raise some private money.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/money guide. That's JCONNER.com/money guide and download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/money guide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.